Hi everybody, I am Kelsey. I am the creative director and owner behind Amanar Palmistry and Counseling, and I provide palmistry services, tarot, and spiritual counseling, and I also make candles. So I'm coming to you today to talk a little bit about Candle Magic 101. So what I'm telling you in this video is really my best practice techniques that I've developed over the past 2 years, and this is from consistent practice, from watching videos, from reading books, right? And I am going to be doing a video on prosperity candle magic, right? So I have this candle here that I recently made. It is a beeswax prosperity candle, and I'm really excited to use this candle for the full moon in Libra, right? So Libra is ruled by the planet Venus, right? Venus is also connected to Oshun. So Venus is great for love work, but also prosperity work, right? So first and foremost, right, there are different kinds of candles out there in the world. There are paraffin wax candles, soy wax candles, and beeswax candles. So what are the differences between candles? Well, I would say that between a paraffin wax candle and a soy wax candle, there's not really that much difference except for environmental impact, right? So soy wax candles are much better for the air quality than paraffin wax candles, right? And then soy wax candles also just tend to hold alchemy a little bit better. And I would know that as a candle maker, I just feel like soy wax is a lot easier to work with. In terms of beeswax, bees are representations of the ancestors on the earthly plane. So I do feel that beeswax channels a lot better to spirit guides, to the universe, right? So it just lasts longer. Right, it lasts longer and it channels spirit better in my personal experience. And if you talk to many candle makers, they do prefer beeswax when it comes to alchemy, right? So here I have this beeswax candle. Beeswax candles typically are on the more pricey ends. The cheapest kind of candles would be paraffin wax, and you can find those in any botanicas, right? And soy wax tend to be a medium range pricing. So you can get a paraffin wax candle for what, like $3-4, maybe even $2, right? Soy wax candles tend to run anywhere from $10 to $20, and beeswax candles could be anywhere in the $20 to $40 range, really depending on who's making it, right? So what happens, right, when you get your candle, right? I have my candle here. I've purchased, or I've made this candle and you can purchase your candle from the store, and the first thing that you want to do is clean the outside of the candle, right? So you want to cleanse the candle of energy, right? So you can do this with Florida water, which you can also buy in your local botanica. You can rinse the outside casing underneath water. You can clear this out with sage smoke, with Palo Santo smoke, or any kind of smudging smoke, right? This clears the energy of anyone's essence that has touched the candle before, right? So that the candle is not tainted, right? Okay, so you clear all of the outside, make sure you get underneath, right? And so what you then would do, right, is set your intention in the candle. So the first thing that I like to do is write my name at the top, right? So I'm not going to write on this candle. I may or may not keep this candle. It depends on whether or not someone purchases it. It is available for purchase on my website, but I'm going to direct you and really tell you how to use this particular candle. All right, so you would write your entire name in the top of the wax, right? So you clean the candle, Now you need to direct the candle, right? Who is the energy going to be for? So you write your name in the top of the wax. So for me, I have a first, a middle, and a last name. So I would write that in the wax. If you have a particularly long name, you're going to want to write small. And I also like to write my birth date in there. So I write my birth dates because there could be multiple Kelsey Christina Andersons, right? So I want to write my birth date so that spirit truly directs the energy towards me. You want to be as specific as possible when it comes to candle work, right? And after I've done that, right, after I've written my name and I've put my birth date, I want to dress the candle. So this candle already has dressings, right? And I'll tell you what's in this candle so that can assist you in your own practice, right? So you would want to get prosperity essential oils, right? Or you can use fragrance oils, but I like to use essential oils because essential oils are just more potent when it comes to alchemy. So prosperity essential oils could be anything from basil to clover, right, to rue, right? If you can find rue essential oil, that would be amazing, right? And so you're gonna want to dress the candle with a little bit of oil. Now, if you buy your candle from a practitioner, right, if the candle was handmade, it probably already has essential oils in there. If you want to add your essential oils, you can do that. That's fine. And so when you're adding the essential oils, I like to be very specific with my intention. So as I am adding the essential oil, I like to add a specific amount of drops to the candle, right? So you would just add that at the top of the candle. Sometimes people purchase candles where the candle is actually removable from the casing, right? And when you buy a candle that's removable from the casing, you would place the oil maybe around the entire candle and just really kind of rub the oil in, right? And so as you're placing the oil on the candle, you want to think of the intention behind your candle, right? Think of prosperous vibration, and you're really calling on the powers of the essential oil, the powers of the herb that you're using on the candle, right? So if I'm using, for instance, basil essential oil and I'm placing that on the candle, I'm calling on the power of basil essential oil, right, to bring me prosperous vibrations. And you're just going to want to channel that intention into the candle. Or you can use a money oil. I make a little money oil blend, which is also available on my website. And when I place that money oil blend on, right, that will give me a lot of benefit in, right, maybe not using multiple essential oils because I already have an essential oil blend here, which is all natural, right? And so this candle already has the same essential oils in the oil in the candle, so I don't really need to add more. It's not really, more oil is not going to necessarily increase the power of your intention. Actually, you only need a little bit. And if you're placing oil at the top of the candle, you do have to be mindful about how much oil you're putting in there, because you don't want to have the candle burn black, right? The candle can burn black if you're adding too much oil, right? If the candle burns black and you've done everything correctly, that means something else. It's more so about signs of the work that you're doing. But in order to prevent physical manifestations of black soot, right, you just want to avoid putting too much essential oil. Okay, so now that you have the oil, now that you have your name written, you are going to want to place some herbs, right? A little bit of herb that is going to channel prosperous vibration, prosperous intention, right? So I like to use rue, right? So I've dressed this candle already. There's already a prosperous herb here. I like to use rue. So rue is something that they use a lot in the Dominican Republic. It's a prosperity herb, but it's also protective, right? And I like the protective factor in prosperity work because sometimes I'm asking for a lot of money and you want that money to come to you very easily and in a very safe way, right? Because let's say you ask for $10,000 by the end of the month, right? You can get $10,000 but from like an accident, and so you don't want that to happen. So you do need some kind of protective element to the work, right? Let's say you don't have rue. Let's say you want to use another prosperity herb, which could be bay leaf. You want to put a little bit of bay leaf in there. Then you can add some sugar. Right, so this is something that I learned from Conjure Queen, right? Conjure Queen videos, right? You can add a little bit of sugar or honey, right, into the candle. Right, and so when you're adding a little sugar or honey, you're asking that the money come to you sweetly, right? Let it be sweet. And every time you add something to the candle, you're going to want to put intention into what you're adding, okay? So I also like to add in additional herbs, right? Because I want the candle to be empowered. So I put a power herb, typically a root herb, onto the candle to powerfully attract energy into the candle. So you can do that by using a root herb. I do have a root herb on here that intensifies the energy of the candle. You can also use magnet sand. So magnetic sand are located in any of your, witchy botanicas. You might be able to find it. I have magnetic sand that I got from the House of Intuition in LA, right? And so sometimes I'll put a little magnetic sand on top of the candles, and that will intensify the alchemy, right? It will intensify the attraction of the candle, right? And some people like to put glitter. So on this candle, for instance, there is glitter. So this has multicolored glitter, and so multicolored glitter would indicate money coming from all different directions, all different sources. You can use gold glitter. So gold glitter would indicate success, and you can use green glitter, which would represent money. And so anytime that you're putting the glitter on top of the candle, or if you have a loose candle and you're rubbing this in, you only need a little bit, right? And that's the same thing for herbs. The herb to intensify the energy, or the substance that's going to magnify your intention, you only need a little bit. Because again, if you put too much, it's going to burn, right? It's going to create black soot, right? And you don't really want black soot in the candle work because it makes reading the candle just a little bit more difficult. All right, so now if you're following along, you would have your candle dressed. You would have the candle specifically intended for you. So now what's next? Okay, so the next thing that you have to do is write out your specific intentions for this candle work, right? So in order to write out your specific intentions, I was always taught to use either a piece of brown paper, a brown paper bag, parchment paper, or if you have a pull-out candle, you can write on the candle itself, right? And so you really want minimally processed paper. So you don't want to use loose leaf, and I've never used computer paper before. So I don't know about computer paper, but brown paper or parchment paper just to keep it safe. Right, and so the first thing that you're going to want to do, right, so again, this is best practices, but over time, your practice can become in tune the more that you learn about the experience, or learn through experience, learn through other videos, or even reading books, right? So, but this is what I found to work best for me when manifesting specific amounts of money in a specific amount of time, right? So the first thing I'm going to write is how much money I want, right? So let's say I want $900, right, by April 1st. And it's currently, today is, I believe, the 16th of March. So I want, $900 by April 1st. Right, and you can choose however much money you want to manifest in a certain period of time. It does have to be somewhat realistic, right? But at the same time, right, magic is not always something earthly that we can understand, right? And what I would suggest is, if you put a large amount of money, be sure to add protective herbs or protective substances to your candles, so that the large amount of money doesn't come through something that you don't want to happen, right? So I'm comfortable with $900 by April 1st, right? That's something that I'm comfortable with, because this is something in addition. $900 additional, I'm going to write that and be specific, additional profit through new and returning clients purchases with love of the work and products. So I specifically wrote down where I want the money to come from. You don't necessarily have to do that, but because I run a business, I feel that I should be specific about where I want the money to come from. So I don't necessarily want the money to come from some, I don't know, random insurance check, or, one time I did a prosperity spell, and I got like a check from an electrical supply, something that took 2 years to get to me, but all of a sudden I lit a candle and I got the money. Right? I don't really want random ass money. Now, people do want random money, and shout out to you, but I want to build my business, right? So I'm going to put that down here, right? You could put down that you want money to come from all possible directions, in all ways possible, and I would say be specific, right? So if you don't mind where the money is coming from, you can say, I want the money to come from all different directions, right? So you have the money down. $900, right? This is what mine looks like. $900 by a certain amount of time in additional profit, right? And I put down additional because I don't want this to be like regular money that I would just already get or receive. Additional, right? You can write words like abundance, right? And then you're gonna want to turn the paper to your right, right? So it's already on the surface. You're gonna want to turn the paper to your right. And then what you're going to do is you're going to write your name, your full name, across your intention, right? So you're essentially writing over your intention. Okay, and then you're gonna do that 9 times. right? So it's going to look perpendicular, right? That's a good word for it. And you're going to write your full name 9 times over your intention. And writing your name 9 times over your intention is sealing the money to you. It's sealing the alchemy to you. Okay, so 9 times. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. 5. 6. 7. Now, granted, you may, get to some empty space by the time you get to your 9th writing of your name, and that doesn't matter. All right, it just matters that you write your name 9 times. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, so this is what mine looks like. All right, so if you see here, this is my intention going this way, and my name is going this way, right? Good stuff. So in other videos that I've seen online, when they do it this way, they don't lift their pen. So it would look like very dramatic script writing, right? So you would be sure to not lift your pen as you're writing your entire intention and as you're writing your name going down. I don't see a difference, so you don't have to do that, but do whatever feels in tune to you. Okay, so now I have my intention, right? I have my name down. What I'm gonna do is I am going to, so this is my long way, right? The name, right? The name is facing me, right? I'm gonna use my money oil and I'm going to anoint this intention, right? So I'm going to anoint it in 4 corners. So 1, and then I'm gonna go to the right. 1, 2, then come down and around. So top, right, bottom, left. Okay, and then some spilled in the center. That's spirit, right? And center. It's almost like Father, Son, Holy Spirit, right? So then I'm gonna take my intention, all anointed, and then I am going to fold it to me, repeating my intention. So I am manifesting $900 by April 1st through additional clientele, new and returning clients, right? April 1st, that will buy products and book services. Ashe, right? Ashe is a power word, right? And you'll fold this towards you, really thinking about your intention and imagining your intention coming towards you, right? And so then, right, you'll take your intention, you'll set it down on an altar space. So altar spaces, with an altar space, you just want a clear space. You're not gonna want a bunch of junk around this area. So just pick a space on a counter. Maybe you can put down some fabric, right? But this is a special space where you're gonna come to really reflect on money while the candle is lit, okay? And you're not gonna want a lot of clutter around the candle because it's a candle, and then also because you're gonna be channeling spirit, and spirit is close to God, and godliness is cleanliness, right? And so you're gonna put your intention down in your altar space that you've designated, and then you're gonna place the candle on top of the folded intention, right? Now, if you're really spiritual, you will get a glass of water, right? Water is a way to commune with spirit, let's say that. And so you're gonna get a glass of water. You're gonna fill it to the top. This is not filled to the top, but you'll fill it to the top, and then you'll place it next to the candle. Okay. Now the candle here, I'm noticing, is shaking a little bit, so you're not going to want a big piece of paper. You only need a small piece of paper, so that the candle doesn't fall over for any reason. And also choose a safe space that's not going to be really interrupted by people. You know, I probably can do another video on altar spaces. If you are creating an altar space, essentially in a space where there's going to be a lot of people who are viewing it, you might want to put a ring of salt around the altar space, or a ring of crystals around the altar space, right, to help protect the energy from evil eye or anyone else's intentions or thoughts, right? So now, right, you have your candle, you have your intention, you have the water for spirit. You can also add prosperity crystals. Good prosperity crystals for this work. Citrine is a really great sunstone that channels success, it channels money, prosperity, and also pyrite, right? I have a really nice pyrite disc that I place underneath candles, which is really perfect for candle work. So maybe keep pyrite crystals and citrine crystals around the candle. And if you are really about your work, you can include a power crystal, just like you included maybe some power herbs in your dressing of the candle. A power crystal would be a crystal that has a high vibrational or high frequency. I like to include malachite, but malachite is a stone that you have to be careful with, right? Because malachite is super strong and you have to be very intentional when using malachite. But I also like to put malachite at the altar, right? And so you would light your candle, right? And I like to light candles, manifestation candles, underneath full moon. So I do this about once a month. You can also light them under new moons. You can light them under waxing moons. I would say the best time for lighting a candle is during a waxing moon and a full moon, right? New moons are more for healing, and you also want to make sure you get your healing in. So healing, meditation stuff during new moons, full moon, manifestation work, right? Okay, so you light your candle. Something that people ask me, should the candle stay lit, right? This is a 7-day candle, these long candles here, and I like to keep the candle lit. Some people don't feel safe with that or are not in the position to have continuously lit candles. So what you would do is you would snuff out the candle. So you don't want to blow out the candle. Do not blow out your candle, because that just essentially stops the work, right? You want to snuff out the candle. You can snuff out the candle by simply placing something on top of it, and essentially the candle flame will go out. Or you can buy a candle snuffer, right? It's not going to interfere with the work, right? Sometimes candles don't go out, and that could be because of spirit. Like you can see the flame go out, then take off the, you know, whatever it is that you placed on top, and you'll see the candle relight. That spirit, the spirit is like, do not put this candle out, right? And it's up to you to do what you want with that, right? And as the candle is lit, whenever you light the candle, you are going to want to bring your concerns before your altar, right? So you have your glass of water, you have your crystals, right? And depending on, you know, whether or not you practice a particular religion or spiritual choice, you can keep a symbol of that religion or spiritual choice on the altar, right? That's actually going to empower it, because you have a connection to that spiritual choice or religion, and so that's really empowering the prosperity, right? Because you feel connected, right? Even on an unconscious level, and the unconscious is spirit, right? And so you'll keep the the symbol of that deity or that spirituality present, right? And so as the candle is lit, you are going to want to almost pray, but if you don't like the word prayer, you are going to bring your concerns of prosperity towards the candle, right? So you're going to think about your worries and your concerns. Now, different practitioners would say different things, but this is what I find works best for me and in my practice, especially to manifest exactly the amount of money by the time I've asked for it. Right, and so you're gonna want to pray. I pray, like I call it prayer, and I'm praying to the Most High, right? And so I'm saying, you know, my concerns around money, this is what I'm going through, this is how much I really want, this is the reason why I want it, this is what I'm gonna spend it on, how much it would mean to me to really have this money, how thankful I would be to have this money, right? So think about gratitude, right? And then you're gonna really be very sincere when you come towards the candle. And this really adds towards the candle's energy. Alternatively, what people have done is just stated prosperity affirmations in front of the candle. So some people don't like to bring the worries to the candle, right? Because, you know, keep it high vibrational. I feel like if you have worries, you need to let those worries out and then focus on the affirmations, because worries stay in your unconscious and the unconscious is connected to spirit. So it really depends on what feels intuitively correct for you. But honestly, right, if you affirm prosperous intentions, that's really good as well. Other things that you can do, you can meditate on prosperity and prosperity vibrations as the candle is lit. You can play prosperity sound vibrations as the candle is lit. All of this is just going to give a lot of prosperous vibration to the flame. The flame is connecting to spirit. The water is connecting to spirit. The stones, the symbol of the deity, it's all connecting to spirit. The oils that you're using, the scent, spirit, everything is connecting to spirit, right? So everything is really important, okay? So that is basic candle magic 101 for prosperity, right? And if you have any questions, you can always leave a comment below. Comment, like, share the video, right? And don't forget to check my website for different candles. I do prosperity candles, love candles, candles to clear out space, candles to channel different deities in African traditional religion or to connect to the deities, right? And I also do events, or I will be doing events for candle magic. So until next time, happy manifestation.